Comment on any of our EndSong Week videos for your chance to win one of 3 copies of Infinity CodeOne Operation Blackwind. We'll be choosing 3 winners, one from YouTube, one from OnTableTop.com, and our Cult of Games members get an extra chance to win.
Hello everybody and welcome back to this EndSong Infinity themed week. I'm joined by Carlos and Killian from Corvus Belli. And today we're going to be looking at one of the most important things the new book brings.
Reinforcements.
A new rule.
Reinforcements for all the armies. Yes.
It's going to change everything and also nothing, but also everything. Yes.
So, the best way to understand a new rule is to actually download the PDF file and read the rule carefully. But this video is just a help, okay? Just trying to reduce the rule to the most obvious traits so you can understand how it's about. Then little questions might pop out, read the whole rule, okay? So here we go, reinforcements. When do the reinforcements enter, okay? When do they appear? Okay, there's a new step on the start of the turn. Request reinforcements, okay? There's a series of conditions, requisites, requirements, okay? And you will have to look at a chart. Essentially, if in turn 2 you have lost 50 points of your army list, then reinforcements can enter. If not, if your army is totally perfect and stellar, the reinforcements won't enter in the second turn. They will enter automatically in turn 3, okay? That is automatic. Turn 3, they enter, okay, like that. And they enter after the use of command tokens. So you cannot use those units and spend command tokens into putting them in main combat group. You cannot do it because they happen to enter after the...
But they do come in before retreat, so you could potentially be in a really bad state, reinforcements come in, and suddenly you're not in retreat anymore.
I guess, yes.
Yes, okay.
Correct, yeah, they enter before retreat, so you are not in retreat. Of course, it's reinforcements, come on. Okay, moving on. Boom. How do they enter? You will place a drop pod token, which is kind of the drop pod capsule. Okay, now we will have a token here. And in the zone of control of that token, you will place your units. If the zone of control invades the other half of the table, it's not allowed that just for units and deployable and perimeter weapons, stuff like that. It's very obvious in that graphic over there, okay? All the troopers in the player's reinforcement section, along with their peripherals and the deployable weapons or equipment, must be deployed completely inside the drop zone of control and completely inside of the half of the game table. Pretty self-explanatory, but it's much better to make a graphic and show it and say it, okay? Any questions, Killian?
This reminds me of the old mechanized deployment rule from N2.
Mini prize. Here's a cascuda for you, Killian. Mechanized deployment in the first edition of Infinity was working almost like infiltration, had nothing flavor to it. But further in the years, we began to consider mechanized deployment as the way to bring the Lucique for the Halkas.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that allows the reinforcement to enter. That was a very old idea because we tested this long ago. And then now with M4, okay, let's bring the reinforcements thing and now has this new rule. But mechanized deployment was going to be bringing the Lucique and the Halkas. And also the Jujak. Jujak was released in Operation Kalstrom.
Yes.
But Jujak was long ago in testing files as a mechanized deployment Korean unit for Yuching. And then it was like infiltration, yeah, but and then was like, okay, maybe this is the guy that brings reinforcements with a vehicle. Because vehicles and reinforcements were like very tied together back long ago, many years ago. So you brought that memory back to me. Thank you, Killian. Killian is so much into this stuff. Okay, moving on. Comlink. This is the device that brings the reinforcements. You must fill a unit with comlink in your army list in order to call for reinforcements. Troopers with this special skill are equipped with cutting-edge comm systems and a direct link to the nearest action units. Thanks to the comm link, the player can create a reinforcement section with 100 points and 2 SWC from the list of units that we will give you as the reinforcements group for your army.
So
And
not all
units,
not all units, just reinforcement units?
yes, just the selection of units. And we will give you a group for every faction. Every faction during this week will have a video with who are your reinforcements. This list is like a mini sectorial army, okay? And they will have their own profiles just for being reinforcements, okay? So you will see during the week that this is an open rule that allows for list building. Okay, we decide to make a big rule with these reinforcements groups that allows you to play and build your own list and have your own style with the reinforcements. I know that the competitive players will arrive at some point with the perfect formula for a start, but Corvus Belli, instead of selling the box of reinforcements, no, they are allowing to have a rich rule with plenty of differences and plenty of variety of troops to select to bring your reinforcements.
But how will this work in comparison to normal games of N3 where there's no reinforcements?
Of course, this is some kind of a mod. If you go to ITS, the tournament organizer will say, we're playing this tournament with the reinforcements mod.
Right, okay.
So everybody will be aware that we're playing with this rule and they build their lists considering that they are having this second wave of figures entering on the table.
So like the way there used to be limited insertion where you only played with a single combat group of 10, that was an option as a mod.
Yeah, that was a mod and it has to be announced by the tournament organizer. We're playing with reinforcements. It's like that. So it's announced, it's intentional. We're playing this way. Okay. The player can use the request reinforcements special skill during the tactical phase of the player turn, as we said. This can be done even if the trooper is in an unstable state. If the guy with the comlink is killed, doesn't matter, okay? The list has been built with the comlink is lying on the ground, beep, 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 and brings the guys, okay? Moving on, reinforcements. This is kind of a army list with reinforcements, okay? One unit has the comlink, because one unit has the comlink allows them to make the secondary group with 2 SWC and 100 points. Once deployed, the reinforcement section will be a separate combat group. Troopers cannot be moved in or out of reinforcement combat groups until the player's following tactical phase. That means that in turn 2, the reinforcements do enter, but they are separate, isolated combat group. Okay, then in turn 3,
you can
maybe
spend
command tokens to get them into the main group and share the orders. That can happen, but that is why they are making things this way.
What kind of units are going to have the comlink? Will it be brand new units for comlinks?
It will be, there will be units, okay, but most of them will be the most cheap, the light infantry, like Kazakh with comlink,
Fusiliers,
with comlink,
Kappas.
and something special sometimes happen. Because moving on, troopers in a reinforcement section count towards the maximum limit of 15 troopers in the army list. So you might be doing a main section with 10 guys and a reinforcement section with 5 guys. It's just an example. You do have your own style. But there will be units that will have comlink +1, comlink +2. That plus is above the 15 units list. So you might end up having an army of 17 units and it's still legal, with the rule of the 15 units limit.
That's interesting. That opens up a lot of list building possibilities.
Maybe a Fusilier with comlink is just normal, but maybe a Hafsa or something like that has the comlink and has a +1, +2 because he's an exceptional guy that makes things, or maybe a lieutenant or something like that.
Yeah, with comlink.
Yeah, something like that. So exceptional guys makes rules even more exceptional. That's the thing.
So with this then, with reinforcements coming in, obviously it has a very narrative feel. The fact that you're bringing people in, it's not an advanced deployment, it's a way of reinforcing specific areas. Are there any new scenarios that are tied to it, or is it just a general rule that people can feed into whatever game they're playing? Well,
it's a general rule that will apply to tournaments if they play them tournament mode of reinforcements. And also there's the book comes with 3 scenarios that are very, very narrative and very into the narrative of the book that are meant to play with reinforcements.
Okay.
And also, the whole narrative of the book justifies in the plot why these things are happening, because the extra have their warships, they destroy one of the circulars. Therefore, the movement in the operation theaters are reduced and they have to adapt the armies are adapting to this new situation because their logistics are jeopardized by this new situation. So suddenly the armies do not have all their units already on the ground. The call for reinforcements and reinforcements appear mid-battle because of the logistics that have been altered by this new situation.
Fantastic stuff. Seems like reinforcements are going to bring a whole new depth and style of play as
and
well.
A different way to play. I have a question though. Can we go back to the chart where it showed you the composition? So whenever you're playing with reinforcements, is that the way you only have 250 and 5 and then the additional? It's not going to be, say, 306?
Well, the text of the rule mentions that the standard size of a game with reinforcements is 350, considering 250 for the main group and the extra 100 points for reinforcements.
Okay.
So, but we will see, because Infinity is this game that we put there, but the community shapes it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's like a coconut and a knife until getting to the juicy part. Okay. The communities from Barcelona, from Madrid in Spain with the second edition, destroyed the second edition. But from that destruction, from that apocalypse, the third edition came. Because the communities play very competitively, the communities like tournaments, there are some alpha players. Robert Shepard from Australia. Have you seen his videos? He analyzed Toja in the deepest way I ever seen, you know. Plebeian from the USA back in the day, he told me everything about the current edition. There are alpha players from all kinds of parts of the world. From Russia, we have incredible players. Executor, he won the Interplanetary. This is an homage to you, all the guys. Sathuli arrived at the final match of the Interplanetary against Executor, but Sathuli hasn't been playing for months. Hasn't been playing. Bowler C in the tabletop community. Super toxic guy, but super deep into the game, and really knowing the stuff. So these guys shape the things. At some point, we from Corvus Belli put the rules there, but the guys will extract the most competitive version of it. Yep. And the guys will find the spot. Do you like playing reinforcements with 350? Do you like playing reinforcement maybe 400? The standard size of the game will appear. In the first edition of Infinity, that was Corvus Belli, Corvus Belli had no clue of what would be the tournament standard. When we made Human Sphere, we already know people that were leaning towards 300 points, and that made the whole math of the game change towards 30 points unit cost, like everything between 28, 30, 25. That was the appropriate cost for a unit because people were playing 300-point games. As I say to you, community, we love you. Community, we do not consider ourselves the authors of this game. No game developer, no game designer can outsmart 10,000 people, 20,000 people playing the same game. Okay, so at some point, we react and adapt and read what's going on with our own game because the community, by playing it, is shaping it, and suddenly the most pure version of it comes after applying all the feedback of the community and the people who put their eyes on it.
And of course, all this goes back to you by ITS. When you report a tournament, all the stats go back, and then you can adjust profiles or the game to fit with what's working in the ITS.
Stats work as a way to confirm the bias and the points of view of many people who actively talks to us, or what we see, or the testers see, or some emails drop, or the community expresses themselves. Is this true? Then you go to the data. Okay. It's a way of doing things. And then there are not just balancing issues of the whole thing. There are sometimes some units are getting not so much into the spotlight. Bikes, for example, because whatever. Medium infantry is because they move, and then we gave them an extra movement in ITS rules as a patch for one season, just for that. Or mercenaries or stuff like that, in order to change the meta a little bit, make things fun, okay? Also, we should distinguish always, I'm just talking here, but ITS tournaments and online war console scenarios when we make campaigns, totally different ways of playing, really.
Yeah,
okay?
Definitely.
And to approach the game, to enjoy the game. So, yeah, lots of things going on.
So this reinforcement is going to be tested by the community. It's going to feed back, and if it proves really, really popular?
That's a good point.
Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, competitive players will get this rule and probably get to the most optimal version of it and say, point with their finger, with the everything finger, this faction can bring these guys as reinforcement, and this is the optimal combination, for example, because we are allowing people to list build. Well, they will arrive at some point with a super formula. That's it. Corvus Belli, bring this to everyone, because it's better for winning tournaments, because we want to win. But bringing Maximus as a reinforcement is cool. I want this to happen.
Yes.
It's narratively cool for me. Nobody is expecting attack as reinforcements. Because also, when people get used to play a rule in a certain way, suddenly the Toja guy makes something totally different and breaks the tournament. It's stuff like that.
There you go. It's the way to do it. Have a look at what we've given you there as a little taster. Obviously, there's so much more you can do. And throughout the rest of this week, we'll be looking at each of the factions in particular and seeing how reinforcements are going to be affected within those factions. Let us know what you think below and stay tuned for the rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Comment on any of our EndSong Week videos for your chance to win one of 3 copies of Infinity CodeOne Operation Blackwind. We'll be choosing 3 winners, one from YouTube, one from OnTableTop.com, and our Cult of Games members get an extra chance to win.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.